man who's going to do this toast is Cameron Goodall. He's a club member. He tells me he addressed his first highest age 8. He wrote 23 High Street on the side of it. He's a member of both Bowhill and Edinburgh Burns clubs, and also that band of stalwarts like Macallan Fencibles. He's currently pursuing a PhD at Glasgow Uni's Centre for Robert Burns Studies, but it's running faster than he is, so he's having a bit of trouble catching up, but he'll get it. He's the present holder of the whistle competition at Friars Cars, and also the World John Lapreek competition at Muirkirk, and a past winner of the Dumfries Ladies Burns Club. Wait a minute, a past winner? Oh aye, Tam O'Shanter competition at the Globe. He was also the nearest member of Bowhill I've ever seen to be drummed out and thrown out of the room for doing an immortal memory 2 years ago. He said, Kev, give me a chance to make up for it. Kev, come on, give me a chance. It was a wonderful immortal memory. It was just a bloody idea. That was the problem. Right, to give his own, which I'm sure will be wonderful. Toast to the Lassies. Will you please welcome Cameron Goodall.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, distinguished top table, rogues, pimps, vagabonds, all. I must say it's wonderful to be back in the Kingdom of Fife. I've had a bit of an eventful week. I started off across Calgary and I had to sit in a drunken man on the way home in the plane who was wanting to leave the plane halfway across the Atlantic. I couldn't let that happen. And then on Wednesday I come home and I was doing a lunch supper in an Alzheimer's home, which is grand because you can just do the same poem 10 times. Nobody really cares that much. On Thursday, I was at the Edinburgh Burns Club, and I've got to say, it gives me some kind of perverse pleasure to belong at the same time to the most right-wing and the most left-wing Burns clubs in East of Scotland. I think it's something that Burns himself would have quite chuffed with, I have to say. I'm also grateful to Kev for giving me this chance to redeem myself after 2009's apparition. You don't need to worry, I'm not going to enter into iambic pentameter because, of course, most of what Burns wrote in the Lassies was songs, so it's end catalytic, anapestic tetrameter. Well, I'll spare you that. I'm awfully glad that the snow has finally went away, and I actually stoated right through the snow, the worst of it, to get away down to Manchester for a conference in Burns and Byron. And Nigel Leask, who's the Regis Professor of English Literature at Glasgow University, has just published a new book on Robert Burns and Pastoral, and he came up with a wonderful fact while he was trawling through the data to make his book. It's all about agricultural improvements and how that's influenced Burns' work. And apparently, you probably all know that Scotland had dreadful winters in the period from 1782 to 1787. Strangely enough, in 1783, an Icelandic volcano erupted. So if you're thinking about taking a lease out on Ayrshire Farm, I wouldn't bother. That's the upshot of it. That's absolutely verifiably true, gentlemen. But no, I'm glad that the snow eventually went away, because the whole time that the snow was lying on the ground, the wife Jerry just sat looking wistfully through the window. I eventually had enough of it and I had to get up and let her in. I had to say to her, look, this snow's not going to clean itself off the path. Because, you see, we have a strange kind of relationship, because I am now a stay-at-home husband, what the politically correct call a homemaker. In real terms, I've been promoted from skivvy to shelf-mender, and it gives me a curious insight which is absolutely ideal for this toast I want to give you a wee rundown of how my weekday normally goes. I allow myself a wee sleep in these days, so I get up at 6:40. And I go away downstairs and I pour out the Wayne's muesli and what have you and start making Jerry's packed lunch for her so that she can take that away. She works in a patient transport now. And then I get her up, she goes to the bath, I get the girls ready. And then I wait for her to get out the bath to do the girls' hair because I'm still pish at that. But eventually I manage to get them dressed and what have you, and I get them out the door. And Maggie goes away to nursery along with Jerry in the morning, while I've got Murren and I take up the walking bus because we're very ecologically sound in Midlothian, you understand. We're not allowed to take cars, we've got to walking bus. So that's that. And then once I get back to the house, I've just about got time to run around and tidy up and do the hoovering, the high dusting and what have you. To see my outfit, it's quite bonny. And stick all the Adobe on and what have you, get all the washing sorted out, hung up in the clothes dryers, and then I can settle down in a wee 5-minute rest while I have my Rivita and reduced fat hummus. watching Loose Women. Before it's time to go and pick up my youngest to the nursery, and then I go and I pick her up for the nursery down in Last Way, and I bring her home, and between the two of us we'll work out what we're going to have for tea, and we sort all that out, and then maybe I'll bake some scones with her. You should taste my stuff, it's lovely. But of course, after my 4-year-old has helped me making scones, the kitchen looks as if I've cut 2 kilos of coke, so that'll take me another hour and a half to get that tidied up. And then it's time for the school run. So I'll pick up my eldest to the school, and then inevitably my Waynes have got something on after school, so I'll need to take my eldest to ballet, for instance. My youngest, I'll maybe take her to Taekwondo, that's the latest. As if you need to teach a 4-year-old girl how to punch you harder than the gonads. I'm not entirely certain what's in that for me, but there you go. And then I rustle them up and we go away home, and I prepare the veggies, and I make the soup and what have you. And then maybe while I'm making the soup, I'm helping my eldest with her homework and what have you. And then I go away and clean the toilets, open a bottle of wine, let it breathe and what have you. And then I stick on Phineas and Ferb for the girls, while I go away upstairs and make myself presentable for my spouse coming home. And then of course she brings us in, kicks off her boots, plucks herself on the table, puts the football on and farts. I tell you, if she leaves that toilet seat up one more time, I tell you boys, it's tough getting in touch with your feminine side, but it has got its upsides. My cuticles are fabulous to and I get the first dibs on all the soft centres. It does actually make you tremendously popular with the lassies. You can be rugged and chiselled and good looking, but see, unless you can swap a killer lemon butter icing recipe with it and tell them where to get the cheapest monkeys, they'll give a damn. You see, it's this empathy that Burns had with the lassies that actually makes him wonderfully suited. And if you ask a lassie what she thinks about Burns, it's entirely different. And people always ask me, should Burns suppers be stag or should they be mixed? I like both. And I think Burns would definitely have liked both, because he liked exclusive male company for having a laugh and a good crack like he used to do with the Cricallan festivals and Donny Douglas's Tavern. But at the same time, he just couldn't do without the lassies.